All right, we're here with Dan Mackey, which is one of the most famous people I know. When I say that, I'm talking about
You're too
his
nice.
performance. He's done a lot of, performance shows in Chicago, Great America. We are not going to talk about certain characters because copyright,
Copyright.
but he can drop maybe some hints and no one will get it in that area. But your fans will definitely get it. So we are also going to be talking about D&D characters that you have played. Now, which ones would you like to talk about first?
Well, all right. So, as far as my performing, right? A lot of my characters, we can say Mad Hatter because I'm doing a Mad Hatter dinner theater right now. He's public domain, so no copyrights. But sometimes I play a mean green holiday guy. How's that? So a lot of the things I do they're whimsical. They're a little surreal. They're over the top a little bit. They're larger than life characters, and that's what I like. That's what I like to do. Also, in a lot of the things that I end up doing, I like to think of myself as not that I think of myself, but I want to be like a Lawrence Welk type, I like to bring people into the show and say, hey, look, they do this thing, and then I do a little bit and we sing a little and that's the show. So I like to showcase other people and just kind of pull it all together. I love it. I'm having a great time.
When me and my wife used to run karaoke,
yeah.
People would be like, oh, there's an issue with this person singing. We always believe that everyone is a star no matter what.
Right.
And that's basically where you're hinting, and it just makes it really good.
You gotta just let them go,
Now,
let them perform.
Have you created your own characters for shows before?
In a manner of speaking, yes. And in a manner of speaking, no. A lot of times, for any sort of like character you do, people will give you kind of what they're looking for, and then you just take that ball and you run. So the coach will give you the play, and the quarterback will execute it, right? So I used a football analogy. Good for me.
Yeah.
And my dad's gonna be so proud. But so that's what I do. But for D&D, right? Those characters are very fun. Of course, you have like archetypes that you're gonna naturally go for, but that there's so much more creativity because nobody gets mad if you mess it up.
That is so true, so true. And my question to you is, what is the first edition of D&D you have played?
So I started playing 5 years ago now, which in the grand scheme of things is not a very long time, but it feels like forever. In a good way, way.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. We started playing, my friend group and myself, we started playing 5 years ago in 5e.
5e?
So, yeah,
Let's
5e.
See, I can go all the way back to first edition.
So people tell me, they say, oh, 5e is like character superheroes, like they can do everything. Is
Almost,
that true?
yeah,
Is that true?
almost.
Yeah.
First edition was good. Second edition was a little better. Third and fourth edition got a little rocky.
Really?
I would say third edition was actually better than second, but a lot of people will argue about it.
Really?
I went kicking and screaming when it came to fifth edition. I was stuck in third, and I wanted to move on.
I've heard there's a lot of people that they say no, third was the way to go. So.
But now I'm starting to get to the point where I'm actually enjoying the fifth edition.
Well, but we're almost done with the fifth edition.
Yeah, I heard sixth is coming out. But
they're gonna call it 1. They're gonna call it D&D 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of like Xbox One.
That's the 2024 thing, or the modern thing, right?
Yeah.
Is to when you rebrand, you just call it the first one again.
Yeah, which is sad because the original creator of D&D, I actually met him.
You met him, really?
Played against him.
Really?
At Gen Con.
He's from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
So not too far away.
But we met up in Gen Con when it was in Chicago. It was funny because he's like, all right, everybody, your whole party's going to die except for one person. we ended up walking out with almost the whole party.
Oh, really?
Because me and 3 others that knew each other, played with each other, knew how to bounce off of each other.
I love it.
And work. And he was like, you can't do that. We're like, why? He was like,
It's like, because I made the game.
I'm like, but your rule says this. He's like, pouted and
No
continued
way.
on. But, you know, everybody has their rights.
What were you playing?
I was playing a monk.
A monk. Gotcha.
See, a lot of people don't like monks because they are, how do you say this, harder to play.
Yeah,
But 5th edition seems to make them a little easier. Now, what is your favorite kind of character and race of character?
Okay. So I like magic. I like magic. Combat's great. If you love combat, good for you. I like magic. I like the spell combinations. I like being creative with it. I'm a problem for DMs because I like to try, and I have a great DM, and he always says, "Well, you can certainly try." He's great, he never stifles me. But I like playing a bard, partially because I'm a bard in real life, right? But part of it is the utility and the creativity. You can have you seen any of the new spells like Silvery Barbs, for example? You can just do everything.
No, if I ever run you in a game, I'll let you be a bard and I'll let you try, because I believe in everybody has a right to do what they need to
absolutely.
in a game to make it fun. If it's going to make the game fun, let it go.
Right, that's right. I mean, as a bard, once you get 3rd level spells, you could get Hypnotic Pattern, you could get Suggestion, you can get Silvery Barbs, and Healing Word. And bam. I mean, you could do you could theoretically stop any encounter with any of those. My personal favorite spell, that's an underused spell, I think, for bards, is Dissonant Whispers. It's the fleeing. You can create so much distance with it's great. So
see, I played a bard a couple times, and I'll tell you right now, my favorite thing to do is go into the tavern and charm people, not for the money, but
just for the social credit.
You could say that. We had a person who would not change out of their armor in the game and anything like this, so I made him use the washroom in his armor.
Well, there you go.
It was just neat tricks like that.
Yeah, the charms
but
are
I was
great.
chaotic neutral, so
Sure.
that's how I usually play, is chaotic neutral.
You got it.
When I play monks, you have to be good or you gotta be evil. You can't be neutral.
You can't be too neutral.
5th edition, they changed that, so I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Now, you usually play bards, singing bards.
I do. I usually play singing bards.
In fact, I made you a couple pictures of the one bard you were telling me about.
So my first character was named Astaroth. After, if you know any of the the Keys of Solomon or the Book of Enoch, apocryphal text, it's a Romanized name of a fallen angel. So that's just fun.
Yeah.
And Astaroth was a tiefling, so he's a tiefling bard. And what was fun was, he was chaotic neutral. He wasn't a bad guy, but we found out in the course of the game that he was descended from an archdevil, and so his whole deal was, I want to be a full devil. And so, but he wasn't like a bad guy, and so he would try. He was kind of a try-hard to do bad, but he wasn't that bad. So that was fun. And then I played him kind of like Mr. Sinister, if you know, from the X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's just always doing stuff. Maybe it was good, maybe it was bad. For example, he made clones of... I used clone. And I would go to my parties like sleeping bags, and I would take like pieces of hair and skin and nails, and I made clones of all of them, just in case they died. Now, that's a little underhanded, but like the spirit, the intention was good.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of clones and characters,
Yes.
it kind of reminds me of a game called Shadowrun. I don't know if you ever played it.
No, I've never played it.
It was hot for a couple of years, then it died out,
Shadowrun?
unfortunately. Yeah, It was basically in the near future where corporates ran the law. There was really no law. And basically you were taking and running around trying to steal things from them, breaking and
Sounds
do all
fun.
kinds of things. And it was cybernetics and all that.
Sure.
And it was, you could clone your character. So when you die, all of his memories and stuff would be in.
Right.
So when you say clone your party, it kind of reminded me of that.
Absolutely.
So
That clone spell. I think the clone spell, in theory, is really fun. In practice, for a campaign, I don't think it's, unless it's like very specifically oriented to be a years-long campaign.
yeah,
It's not the most practical, but it certainly is fun. And so that was fun. I also, we would make some polls where I would beg my devil mom to help with some things, and depending on how it rolled, we would get a little bit of assistance sometimes. So that was really fun, because it was fun to have that, big chaos element of like, maybe this will work. So that was great. So he was, in the end of the campaign, he ended up making a wish we got to 20. It was great. We did a
level 20.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
We did from 1 to 20. My first campaign, we went 1 to 20, 2 years,
Oh, that's quick.
every week. It was awesome. It was a great time, and we did it through the pandemic too, so that was lovely.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
So
Pandemic
then
made it interesting for
Yes.
gaming too, because it gave us Discord now
Mm-hmm.
for gaming. Gave us YouTube, of course, which this is on.
hello.
For gaming. It gave us where we are locked in our houses. So if we didn't have a right to work because we weren't first responders or
Sure.
anything like that, we had to stay home.
And we could
So we had to study
We could play
something.
D&D.
We had to keep things
Well,
busy.
and so during the pandemic, luckily, I got to still work some gigs through the pandemic, which is great. But I did some online choral stuff. That was actually very cool. But just to kind of keep my brain together, I memorized almost every spell of the player's handbook.
Dang. I never
I think the
really
magic
did.
is so cool.
I played magic users. I have made Fighter Mage Thieves. And I would, do my best to make them different than everybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
But I can honestly say I never studied the books that good.
Oh, I read every
So
single
that
thing.
impresses me.
Well,
So if I ever have
I'm
a spell
studious.
that I need question
Yeah,
for a game,
you can ask
I
away.
can ask you.
and and then there's a lot of like esoteric rulings on spells, and like it depends the table. So I have a lot of thoughts on a lot of spells. But so with my level 20 tiefling bard, singing bard, he used a wish, and so he got to become like a full devil. So that
That's
was
cool.
fun. That was really fun. He had some other things in there too. It was great, but the party didn't love it so much. But we had a great time. It was in game. It was very dramatic. Outside of game, we were just loving the drama of it. I play with a lot of performers, and so the improv is always top notch. And
Oh, yeah.
and we'll take risks and we'll argue, and like one character will be mad at another character, which is great. Yeah, and then you say above table, you're like, we're fine, everything's good, we're having fun. Then you go back into the yelling, but
Yeah.
it's fun. So that that's really fun. I think any performer, I think would love D&D, because you just get to go and be.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
I was in a game. It was a solo game with me and a friend. Everybody found a reason to get out of it.
No.
And there was no reason for it. So he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I go, well, I've done this game long enough. You're running it. And I won't say his name because we are not talking.
Sure.
But I'm like, I'll run 4 to 6 characters. And I actually had them all arguing and fighting with
Really?
each other. And he was looking at me like, are you okay? Are you going crazy? Because I was actually bouncing between characters.
How could you keep track?
It was hard.
Was
but
combat a chore?
No.
No. Okay, great.
Because I had each character a different class,
Okay.
different personality, so it would bounce
Okay,
off of
sure.
things.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, but it's tempting to try. Now, there's a band out there you would probably love seeing. Speaking of jumping characters,
Yeah?
is I'm trying to think of the right way to say the name without getting in trouble.
Understood.
We'll just call them Hair.
Hair. Okay.
And they jump from they have 3 lead singers. And they all change lead costumes and change
Really?
into things. And they are really, really good.
Cool. Well, that's fun.
When you get the chance, talk to Lisa or me after this.
Yeah.
And I will
Hi, Lisa.
tell you exactly who they are, and maybe you can go check them out.
Absolutely.
Because I know they are awesome.
That's fun.
When I heard about them, I'm like, yeah, they claimed it great, but we'll see.
Yeah.
They blew my mind.
Oh, good.
But back to the D&D.
Yeah. Well, you're good. So, something that's really fun so my campaign after that, I was so in love with my tiefling bard. And he made it through the story, and that's all good. So, he was still on the table, of course, but I wanted to do something different. So I made a random table, and I just rolled for it, right? And so I got half-elf sorcerer. And I thought, what would be really fun is if I did Draconic Bloodline, and it was just all fire. So I made it that he could only take fire spells.
Now
Only
that's
spells
cool.
that dealt fire damage.
Yeah.
Which limited me a lot, but it was really fun. Because you had to be really creative, and your sorcery points were less valuable and therefore more expendable because you're like, well, I can only use fire spells. So.
Right. First level or first edition
Yeah.
D&D, I'll tell you, they had very limited spells.
Yeah.
Very limited spell casters. And it was kind of weird because if you wanted to do something different, it was hard to find stuff that was different.
Sure.
5th edition, so many different
do anything you
spells.
want.
I remember first edition, my mage, that was one of my favorite ones, would cast grease. And then next round, web. So the person's on the ground
they're
and
just
can't get up.
Stuck, yeah.
And then someone would just take a torch, because I would almost be out of spells, and light it on fire. Boom, they're on fire, they're taking damage,
Yeah.
and they can't get up.
Right.
It's like, most people though, in first edition, they would be go, magic missile, and it just got boring after a while.
Sure.
So I always look
Okay. Magic Missile is such an anticlimactic name for what it is. I wish it had a better name. Don't you? I don't know what, but it's just, okay, it's called Magic Missile, really?
Yeah.
But I wish it had just a spicier name.
Now, magic orbs are pretty good.
Yeah, something I don't know, homing something, because they home,
Right. I agree with you.
But yeah, Magic Missile bums me out. The name, it's
That's
such
why
a cool spell.
That's
too.
why I barely used it, because of the name.
Really?
I would always go with something different, because I was so tired of people going, magic missile.
Right.
I'm like,
Is that now asking anyone watching at home? Is that a common thing? Does everyone dislike the name Magic Missile? What would you name it? Let me know. let us know. What would you call it?
yeah, please do let us
Yeah.
know.
Oh, and question for the audience. What's your favorite spell? So, I have a few, right? But Dissonant Whispers is definitely my favorite bard spell. Fireball is probably my favorite overall spell. I just love it.
You know what? Speaking of D&D like this, I'm getting to the point where I want to just go one game with you, just one.
Just one, straight, a one shot.
I would love to do more than one, but I know with your time zone and mine, it's not going to happen.
I'm all over.
With your acting and your other stuff you're doing, me working the hours I'm working, we barely had time to get this interview in.
Oh, I know. We had to plan this for a month. This was a month of
More than
planning.
a month.
Yeah, more than a month of planning. This has been.
So it's like,
This has been difficult.
it's rocking though. I get in here, I'm shaking because I'm so nervous because you're so awesome to me. I'm being
not that
honest.
exciting. I gotta keep flipping my hair. I'm not that
It doesn't
exciting.
matter. I've seen your characters that you have played in shows, and it's like, it's just how you perform on stage.
Wow,
It's like,
thank you.
damn.
Thank
And
you.
I'm sure if your D&D games are the same way, it's going to blow my mind.
Well, I hope I don't disappoint you. We definitely get very excited.
That's what I need in my games now.
Yeah, I have. No, I've never DM'd though.
Really?
No, and I really want to, but I'm worried. I'm worried I'd be disappointing to my friends.
Why are you worried?
I just think I don't know. I don't know yet. I need like a solid story because I wouldn't
Not
want to use a
really.
module.
Not
I'd
re-
wanna
I don't use
go.
modules
Yeah.
either. But one thing I learned as an experienced DM, and I'm going to tell you this right now, don't ever plan out the whole campaign.
Oh, no.
Not even
I need
from
big
the
beats.
first
Big
5-10
beats.
minutes.
Yeah,
Because
they'll just
the
go.
moment you go, all right, I want you to go east,
Right.
your party's going to go, well, I really want to go west.
They do
And then
that.
you have to refigure it out.
I am that person, right? Where it's like, oh, we're supposed to go over there. Okay, I'll go.
Yeah, I was going to run Pathfinder on YouTube, like you and me are doing, but we were going to do interviews with the players because I don't have YouTube Live yet.
Sure.
So, but they're like, oh, we don't want to be seen on YouTube.
Why?
There's other reasons, but I'm not going to mention it.
Oh.
But no, nothing bad.
No, you're
just their work and all that
Oh, good.
is saying they cannot be seen.
Oh, sure. Hey,
So I'm like,
plaster
all
my
right,
face
how am I
everywhere.
going to do? What am I going to do? So I went and started doing the wrestling game, which is like D&D, but it's a one-shotters. It's like one-shot D&D, except for your character can continue on.
Yeah.
And when I say it's a one-shotter like D&D, you can't show up for a match or whatever. I don't know if you know wrestling that well, but
I love
you
wrestling.
can't show up for a match. The show goes on, like you would say.
Right.
And you
There's
don't
a
have to
blender.
worry about losing experience points or your party leaving you behind. Now, that's a good thing. But it's bad because you're stuck in the same scene almost all the
Sure.
time.
I get that.
But I'm running one with,
So it's a wrestling. like
wrestling
D&D?
role-playing game.
Really?
If you're interested, I can set you up
Did
with
you?
it. No, I did not create it.
No. Are the mechanics similar?
Yes and no.
Okay.
You roll for your stats 4d6s instead of 3.
Okay.
We roll once like we always do for D&D. You take and you choose your moves, which is like your skills. You also choose you get a certain amount of skills depending on your in skill points,
Sure.
depending on your class of fighter, as I'm going to call it. And what you do is you choose that, and then you basically roll for combat. You roll initiative. D&D, you roll initiative.
Yeah.
The only difference with the combat with D&D and wrestling, once you do your initiative, you're done. And then the monsters go. And then it's back to you unless the DM
Unless-
makes you
right.
re-roll initiative all the
Right.
time. Wrestling, you take a D20 or D10 depending on who's running it. I prefer D10, which I believe the book's D10, but I've had one person run me saying use a D20 for it.
All right.
Whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Then you roll D10. Say you won, you get to go 3 times. 3 moves unless you miss. If you miss, I take over and start fighting you back.
So it's like a momentum thing.
Yeah. But if, say, you hit 3 times, I don't automatically get to go back at you. We roll initiative again. And then I would be like, please let me win initiative.
Right. So you could totally steamroll something.
Yeah, which
A very
Steve,
Goldberg match.
Yeah, you could say that. Steve Nader, which is Steve, who actually ran the first match since we started doing this, I ran a demo for him for a few minutes to get him comfy with it. I was run high, and was blowing his mind. I'm like, all right, let's get this done right, and let's do the actual match. I started rolling all misses.
Of course.
And of course, he's hitting everything he could. Within 6-7 moves, my character was pinned. I was like, that is just...
That's how that goes, right?
But
sometimes the dice are just against you.
D&D, though, you roll a d20, you attack, it's time for the next person.
Right.
If you fumble, you hurt someone or yourself.
Right.
Wrestling, you fumble, you just trip over your feet. Or if you're a high flyer, you fly off the rope and hit your face on the mat.
You land outside.
Or hit your... But, like I said, this is more about you and D&D, so... And your other characters.
Sure. So I did a... So he was a half-elf sorcerer, right? But he liked to make, like... art with the fire, so his name was Dazzle. Dazzle. He was a little clueless about life because he didn't know, but he was a real nice guy.
I think we all played someone like that before,
right?
If you ever game more than a year, I think you have always found a way to make that one special character that is like, how they say this nicely, barbarian style in the brain.
Yeah, just not...
Even if they're not a barbarian.
Right.
Because you know barbarians have that...
Right, he wasn't very streetwise. But he was a real nice guy. But yeah. So then I did a Valor Bard. So my first Bard was a Lore Bard, which was fun. I like the magical secrets.
Yeah.
Love it. It's the best. But then my next bard was a Valor Bard. And he was a thief. And he was fun. So he wore a fox mask. It was great. So his name was Volpe. And so for that, right? Should I probably have done like Arcane Trickster? Yes, I should have. I wanted to do Bard. And so I did. So that was really fun. And then currently I'm doing a Grave Cleric.
Ooh, I've played one of those before.
It's fun. He's really fun, and so I like that. I like being like very useful, because bards are useful, but like a cleric is in many ways exponentially more useful.
Yeah,
so they're all useful, but
I got a campaign for you if you want to play a cleric.
Oh, what is it?
It's called Cleric Hunt.
Cleric Hunt.
Yeah.
Oh. Are we after the clerics?
Yeah, basically.
Oh no.
That's a secret, but it's got some twists and turns. But I will tell you right now, usually the party saves the cleric because usually the cleric is an NPC.
Sure.
So it's not like I'm going to kill a character.
Right. Well, you could make them reroll.
I do not, love killing characters. I usually will not let someone run over me with a character. I won't let them be a power character. But I'm not one of those DMs either that's going to sit there and go, you're dead.
Right. Yeah.
And since you never DM'd, if you want me to help you, I can always give you ideas.
Well, I'd love anything you want to share. Let me know. We've had a couple of characters die on the table in the game, but a lot of them actually were very exciting. They were very good, dramatic. It was good. It was very fun. But my characters haven't died yet. And the fox one, I would charge him into everything because I was like, he wants to go out in glory.
Yeah, I've had a character I did not want to play. The DM talked me into it.
Really?
I didn't want to play him. It was
a tiefling bard. We hate
it. It was a elf barbarian. That was a dwarf. I love playing dwarves.
Okay.
But I didn't feel it made the dwarf correctly. The DM didn't do everything he could to make the barbarian interesting. It was dull.
Mm-hmm.
But I add my own little spice to it, and glimmer and all that.
Yeah.
And still, I couldn't get into them.
No.
So I'm like, I'm going to run into battle.
I just run
I'm
in.
going to kill everything.
Yeah, just charge in.
Or try to kill everything and be the first one down.
Yeah, exactly.
I would end up saving the whole party.
Exactly.
Now,
Well, that's barbarians too, right?
yeah. Now, my favorite character, I would have to say that would save the party, always assassin.
Oh my gosh.
I would hide in the shadows,
Oh my gosh.
and I would just backstab the monsters.
Some of those sneak attacks. Some of those sneak attacks, they do them, they hit them, right? And then you hear just their collective dice. In my first campaign, we had a rogue with sharpshooter. And so, this is our very first campaign, so we didn't have 30 d6s. And so, well, she didn't, so we would all donate d6s for the roll. It was incredible. Oh my gosh.
I've been there, done that.
So that got wild.
Before I moved out of my house.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. My wife could probably tell you this if she was here. I had a dresser, 3 drawers high, filled with 5 dice.
I believe
And
you.
someone would say, "Oh, can I borrow a set of dice?" I would just go rummaging through.
I believe you. Well, and that's the joke. So I'm telling you, folks at home, right? That's the joke. If you know a D&D player, you think, surely they have enough dice. The answer is no. There's never enough dice.
Yeah, we found a little secret for those gamers that don't have enough dice.
Yeah.
Amazon has a pound of dice. I don't deal with Amazon because they don't seem to get the deliveries right. Yes, I went there.
Oh.
But Barnes & Noble has a pound of dice too, so you
Yeah.
pay a little more, but
But real talk, you're looking for a gift for a D&D player? Just get them some dice.
oh yeah,
Get them some dice that remind you of them. They will love you forever.
correct.
I have these beautiful. They're like they're pastel-y, right? They're very cool. But they all have music notes on them. Oh, they're
sweet.
gorgeous. They're metal. They're
That
beautiful.
does match you perfect.
Well, thank you. And then my very best friend got me two sets. Well, a few, but 2 specifically. One is they have little dragon eyes in them, and they always point up, and you roll. They're very cool. And then he got me these dice that they're white, but they look like they're just covered in blood, like blood drops. Love it. So that's fun. I was thinking, it'd be really fun. Our dice, and I don't know how we would do it, because they have to be even, but dice that look like teeth. I don't know how, but I want to get there.
There is some dice that's similar,
Really?
but it's not teeth, but they're like gemstones.
Oh, sure.
That is like weird looking.
Yeah. I want to get teeth dice.
Yeah, if we could find some, we could.
Right?
All right, I'm going to have to put you on pause for a minute
sure.
because the timer's running down on
Oh,
this.
wow.
So we're going to
I'm long-winded,
add a
I'm
second. No, we're going to put on a second video,
I'll freshen my coffee.
and then I'm going to freshen my drink
Yeah.
too, and then we'll continue.